Good morning. You're joining us live here on India Today's social media handles. I'm Akshita Nandagopal, and our apologies for the earlier broadcast. We had a bit of a problem with our audio there. Hopefully it's fine now. You can hear me loud and clear. I'll be getting you a roundup over the next few minutes of all the top stories that we're tracking. And I want to begin with the story that all of us have been discussing for the last few days. The now suspended BJP spokesperson Nupur Sharma's comments on Prophet Muhammad. On Sunday, she was suspended by the BJP, but the fallout, the backlash over her comments continues even now. What comes as an extremely concerning development is that terror group Al-Qaeda has now issued a threat based on what Nupur Sharma has said. Now, in their letter, they've said that they need to honor Prophet Muhammad, and so are threatening that they will attack and strike cities across the country. So they've particularly in the letter mentioned Delhi, Mumbai, Uttar Pradesh, as well as Gujarat. I beg your pardon. So in this particular letter, they've said that we need to honor the Prophet by holding suicide attacks, suicide strikes across the country. And they mentioned, again, let me highlight for you, Delhi, Mumbai, Uttar Pradesh and Gujarat. The contents of this letter is extremely scary. It's extremely worrying as well, and something that security agencies also are not taking lightly. At this point, they're tracking very closely any untoward incident, any security breach that's being reported right now, as the Al-Qaeda has threatened that they will, in that letter, attach bombs to themselves, to their children, to ensure that they uphold the honor of Prophet Muhammad. This is the scary backlash, the scary outcome of the kind of comments that were made by Nupur Sharma. And this is something that our security agencies will be tracking very closely, a worrying development to say the least. And it's not the first of, the many instances that have been reported in the last few days of backlash, of the fallout that we've seen of Nupur Sharma's comment. So many Arab nations also took a stand against it, publicly condemning what Nupur Sharma said. And that's essentially what prompted the BJP also to crack the whip against her and suspending her, saying that we respect all religions. As far as the government itself is concerned, they've also done their damage control by saying that, look, she's not spoken for the government, she's not spoken for the country. Do not consider her remarks. She is the spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party, which is in power, but the government has referred to her as fringe in their communication. So that by itself is very interesting, because clearly they're washing their hands of this entire incident and saying that, they have nothing to do with the views that she's expressed. It's also interestingly led to a communication from the BJP to their spokespersons, saying only those who are authorized will represent the party at TV debates. They've said don't get into this rhetoric of religion, of any sort of communal agenda. They're saying get and research on all topics before you go on these debates. Don't fall for any of these traps of going into any sort of communal back and forth. So that is the BJP's damage control here, and trying to ensure essentially that most spokespersons don't land up in this kind of a soup. And very clearly only those who are authorized can now take part in these TV debates. As far as Nupur Sharma itself is concerned, she's been facing death threats. She's been summoned now by Maharashtra police because of a slew of cases that have been registered against her in the state. So it's clear that this controversy isn't going to die down anytime soon, especially with the fact that you've got more and more condemnations pouring in. The countries, many of them who've actually condemned Nupur Sharma's comment, have also, yes, come out to welcome the step that was taken by the BJP in suspending her until further notice. Remember, the likes of the UAE, the United Arab Emirates, one of the closest allies of India and one of our biggest trade partners, also came out just about 24 hours ago to condemn what Nupur Sharma has said. So there's been quite a bit of damage globally, something that India is now working on repairing as well. We'll be getting you all the latest on those stories. But let me also tell you about the other big story that we're tracking this morning, which is the Kerala gold scam. A big news break that came in last evening was the main accused, Swapna Suresh, naming Kerala Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan. It's happened in the past. She's time and again alleged that he is involved, his principal secretary Shiv Shankar, who of course was also removed from his post soon after, that all of them are involved in the gold smuggling case that she's the main accused in. What are her latest allegations? She's named Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan. She's named his wife Kamala, his daughter Veena, his aides, his minister, All of them have been named. And according to Swapna Suresh, she's made some extremely serious allegations. According to her, gold as well as currency notes, so all of it was smuggled in biryani vessels. The pretext of taking biryani into the Chief Minister's official residence, gold and currency notes were smuggled into Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan's official residence. These are extremely serious allegations to make, but she's saying that this is something that was discovered because the vessels were extremely heavy, were being taken in, and that's when a series of these vessels were being taken in with all of this gold being smuggled into the official residence of the Chief Minister. Obviously, the Kerala CM has dismissed all of these allegations, saying they're politically motivated and that he was the one who had actually batted for a central investigation. If he was involved, why would he do that? So this is getting murkier by the day, and we've been getting you also reactions that have been coming on this. Swapna Suresh has been talking to the media about this. She's saying that she submitted all evidence with regards to this against the Chief Minister, against his aides, against his ministers also in court. Very serious allegations. Let's see how it plays out also legally speaking, whether there will be trouble for the Kerala Chief Minister. The opposition, of course, has latched onto this to demand the resignation of Chief Minister Vijayan, something that he's outrightly refused to do, saying that I'm completely innocent. Again, I'm the one who ordered for and I'm the one who pushed for a central agency to investigate this particular scam. Why would I do that if I'm involved? That essentially is the defense of the Chief Minister there. Before I wrap this up, I want to tell you about one more story, a very important one that came in from Hyderabad a few days ago. If you've been watching the news, you know about this horrifying incident of gang rape that was reported in the city, and that too in the extremely plush Jubilee Hills area. Here was a minor who was targeted, who was molested and allegedly gang raped inside a vehicle. Now, the police yesterday held a news briefing. The commissioner of the Hyderabad police confirmed that 6 accused have been taken into custody, and mind you, these are all people from extremely affluent, extremely influential families. 2 of the accused, who are the recent ones to be arrested, one of them is an AIMIM MLA's nephew. That's right, from Asaduddin Owaisi's party, his nephew. The other is an AIMIM MLA's son. So they're all politically linked as well. Now, they're minors, which is why we're withholding information about their identity. There's only one major identified as Saduddin Malik, who's been taken into custody as well. The kind of information and details that the police has put out is shocking. This victim, this girl, was harassed first in the pub, then in a Mercedes car with these men. She was molested, and then in an Innova. She was allegedly gang raped by these accused. They then hid the Innova in a farmhouse. When the case was registered, when she finally spoke out, garnering enough courage, she's still reportedly in shock. She finally told her family about it. They filed a complaint. They immediately fled from Hyderabad, but they've now been taken into custody by the cops. Huge pressure that was on the cops as well, because this was, as I mentioned, an extremely high-profile case. You look at the profile of these accused, they're all politically linked to the AIMIM, some to the TRS. There is a Waqf board functionary's son also involved, and that's a shocking bit. The Innova SUV in which the alleged gang rape happened, it's actually a Telangana government vehicle. It belonged to the Waqf board functionary, and as I mentioned, the son of this Waqf board functionary is also one of the accused. Apparently, these accused dropped off the driver at a bakery and then took the survivor, allegedly raped her, dropped off the car at a farmhouse, thinking that they'll get away with it. There were attempts to wipe off the evidence, attempts to even kind of reach out to the survivor's family and ask them to not to withdraw this particular case. But the survivor's family here, very, very clear that they want to pursue justice in this particular matter, and hats off to them. And that's where there have been questions also about the authorities here. While they have ensured that all the accused have been taken into custody, how is it that the accused family, known to be extremely influential, managed to get in touch with the survivor's family here as well? Serious questions that will be asked. As I mentioned, out of the 6 accused, 5 are juveniles. But this is a story that we will track very closely as the legal procedures now follow suit, now take precedence, as all of the accused have been taken into custody by the police. They're still gathering the evidence in this particular case and hoping that they will build a rock-solid case against all of the accused. There will be a lot of pressure because, as I mentioned, extremely affluent members of families here that are involved, but we are going to track the story very closely to ensure that the probe in no way is deterred by influence, by political influence in this particular incident. Those are the top stories that we're tracking this morning here on India Today. Same time tomorrow, I'll be joining you with this daily roundup.